Hey everyone, I'm here with Mark, and
What's up, guys?
we're on TTS. We've been playing around with it, and yeah, we're gonna show off probably one of the best decks in Clan Selection Volume 2, right?
Feels pretty good.
Yeah, it's the very easy to build Hamsuke deck. So
So straightforward.
literally everything here is a Hamsuke, except certain cards. But yeah, and they're all pretty cheap, right? They're not expensive.
So, if you look at clan selection, you get the new cards, and then I think you get the grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3 as part of
yeah, you
the
get grade
reprints.
1, grade 2. Oh, yeah. True.
So if you do need to build a deck, the cards that you actually need is Hamsuke and Mini Belly,
Yeah, this guy, Mini Belly.
and the Sentinel crit.
But these are cheap. And looking at the Japanese prices for Clan Selection Volume 2, Hamyan is actually one of the cheapest ones out there. Like,
Yeah,
compared to like,
because no one likes Grey Nature.
well, in Japan at least. In English,
Yeah.
everyone likes Grey Nature, so that could be a different story. But yes, no, I think this is one of the strongest decks coming out of Clan Selection. When you think of Luage, you think of 3/4s,
Yep.
and when you think of Hamsukes, do you think of 3 Accels?
Yeah.
Yes, but before this you didn't, right? You just thought it was.
Well, before it was 2 Accel, except it's a 2 Accel that's just a vanilla Vanguard.
Yeah,
But now it's a restanding Vanguard.
which is pretty crazy. So yeah, let's go through the whole deck. Let's start off with the triggers, right? You're running 4 crit, 4 heal, 8 front. I think we kind of know why we want to run 8 front, yeah?
Yep. A lot of
why?
Accels, a lot of attacks, trigger front, feels good.
And when we talk about a lot of attacks, there are a lot of attacks.
A lot of units attacking.
Yeah.
So you get a front, you get like 60k worth of power,
Yes,
something
yes.
like that.
And yeah, it's pretty lots of value. Lots of
Yep.
value. This is one of those Accel decks, unfortunately, that don't really gain like insane amounts of power.
Yep. So you kind of rely on the front to be able to hit over your opponent's
Yeah.
damage trigger.
Unlike other Accels clans that they released before, where they're like,
Um.
you get more attacks and you get power. But this one, you just get lots of attacks.
Well, that's why the previous one got hit.
Yeah, so let's moving on to the grade 1s, right? We have here, we've got our Hamsuke. This is pretty self-explanatory,
Yep.
right? This is the new Hamyuki.
Yeah, Hammsuke.
And this card is pretty dumb.
Pretty good, pretty good. Vanguard effect, come in play, discard cost, search for the other, grade 1 Hamsuke
This one, yeah.
from your deck. And for those who are not familiar, the grade 1 Hamsuke on the Regar circle has the effect of going into Soul by Soul Blasting 1, and then you search for the grade 2 Hamsuke. So what that means is you have essentially 8 copies of this Hamsuke to ride at grade 1. And getting that is pretty important because you want to make sure that you have the grade 1 and grade 2 Hamsuke in Soul. But as long as you get either one of these 2 cards, you're set.
That's good. And the second effect as well.
And then the second effect, yeah, pretty broken. Soft once per turn, return 2 Hamsukes from your bin to the bottom deck. And then use counter charge 1.
Yeah, counter charge 1.
So if you have 3 copies of that, put 6 cards back, counter charge 3, no problem.
Alright, tell us the importance of this card. Why do you need this?
Oh wow, that's very blurry.
Yeah.
So it has an on-place effect of Soul Blast 1, put a grade 2 or less from your hand to Soul to draw a card. The important thing is, as I was saying, it's very crucial to make sure that you do have the grade 1 and grade 2 Hamsuke. In the case where you do get the grade 1 early, then that's no problem. Your grade 1 searches your grade 2, you ride your grade 2, and you have your grade 1 and 2 in Soul. There will be games where you don't get that off.
Yep.
And when you don't get that off, that means your grade 3 Hamsuke becomes completely useless. So the only way to fix that, the only way to get a grade 2 into your Soul is to use this Hamna?
Hamna.
Hamna. And it's too blurry, man. You get better pictures. Yeah, Hamna, that's the only way to put a grade 2 Hamsuke into Soul, because unlike the grade 1, which can go into Soul by itself, the grade 2 doesn't do anything, so you need a way to fix it. And unfortunately, this is a Hamsuke as well, which means we'll get to it later, but it's become searchable due to the fact that it's a name. It's got the Hamsuke name.
And I think some people have asked why run Mini Bailey.
Yep, Mini Bailey is because you want it for multiple reasons. So first of all, great 13k boost is nice to have.
Yep.
And then both of the grade 3s are in the deck are something that you want to see.
Yep.
The Hamsuke itself, you want to grab it from the deck and chuck it into the bin. You want to make sure that you always have at least one in the bin.
So one of these, right?
Yep. And whereas it's also good to grab Hamyang. Yeah, the new grade 3.
You mean the
Yeah. Because after doing Hamyang's effect, you'll be sitting on Hamsuke, and then unless you write a new one,
He doesn't do anything.
You don't do anything the following turn. It's kind of like the problem you have with what you call it?
Yasue.
Worse. Yeah, Yasue Tenma at least has an effect.
Yeah, it can clone this one.
Hamsuke is just vanilla after writing it.
Alright. Moving on, let's move on to the grade 2s for now.
So we have grade 2 Hamsuke.
It's Hamgoro.
Hamgoro. One of the new cards.
Yeah.
Come in play from hand, counterblast 1, look at top 3, add a Hamsuke card to your hand, put the other 2 to the bottom.
Yep.
So just kind of your typical counterblast 1.
I mean, it's pretty nice. Like, it adds a lot, like, with this and this now, we have a lot of consistency here. This can also help us get the cards we need.
Yeah, in the early game, you drop it down, you look top 3, and hopefully get one of the cards that you need.
And even on the late game, if you're, like, missing, like, this, right, for your second ride, you can kind of use this to grab this or this to help you get to.
So the only downside of this card, I guess, is that it has to be from hand.
It's counterblast 1.
So you don't get to use it if you call it out from the deck.
That'd be pretty broken.
It is what it is. And then second effect, nothing amazing. Just put 2 cards back, get 3k, so it hits 12. Relevant in those Accel and Protect matchups.
Yeah. And but I guess putting cards back is pretty good.
Yes, putting cards back is important, especially you need a setup to make sure you have a Hamsuke at the bottom deck.
And also you go through so many cards with this deck, it's actually insane. We also have this guy, Hamhiko's back.
Hamhiko, a lot of people forget that he's actually a Hamsuke. And unlike Hamgoro, this one, you can use it if you call it out from deck. The only difference is that you're soul blasting 1 on top of the counter blast, but that's not... It's actually a good thing because you get out of... get those Hamsukes that are stuck in your soul back into the bin, and then you can do some stuff with it.
With the second effect though, I know before when you played Isabel, it was always basically 14k. But how often does this pop off now?
I think it's one of those. I look at it as if I get it, I get it. If it doesn't happen, I don't care too much.
Because I think it only procs off itself, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. That's kind of interesting.
Yep.
And then we have the grade 2 here.
That's crucial.
Don't have it, doing something wrong. Let's move on to well, this one's also same thing. This is part of the combo, but this is the new Hamyan, the one that is hype.
Yep. Yeah. So we have the first effect, which is a once per turn counterblast to discard 1.
Yep.
Search as many Hamsuke as you like with different names, and call them to your front row circles.
Okay.
So if you look at this, right, even if on the first turn, when you only have 1 Accel circle, you're discarding 1, counterblasting 2 to call 3 cards. So that's like counterblast 2 to get to do a +2, which is kind of equivalent to your usual CB1 get +1. So it's not bad in itself.
Yep.
And then later on in the game, you just like counterblasting to discard a card, get like 6 cards out of the deck. Pretty crazy.
You can even kind of use this to like grab support cards and move them to the back as well. If you want to play a late turn.
So a lot of times I call grade 1s, they go to the front and then I move it back. And that goes back to the one-off grade 1 we're talking about. Because we are searching from deck, So in those situations where your soul isn't what you need it to be, you have this game fixing.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. That's cool. And it's just another name basically during the late game.
And then second effect, after attacking, at the end of the battle, this card attack. If your opponent's on grade 3, discard 2, review the bottom card of your deck, and if that card is the grade 3 Hamsuke, write it as a stand, and that Vanguard loses 1 drive. So you write your Hamsuke, your grade 3 Hamsuke activates by discarding 2, you get the Accel marker, and you call the grade 2 and grade 1 from deck. So if you look at this part, you're spending no CB.
Yeah.
You discard 2, write, get an Accel marker, so that's +1. So you neg 2 +1.
Yep.
And then you activate this, you discard another 2, so you're down to neg 3.
Yep.
You get another Accel circle, so you draw another one, so you're back to -2.
Yep.
And you call 2 cards out. So you're ±0.
Yep.
But then you're doing drive checking.
So it's a +1.
Yep. And on top of that, you got 3 extra attacks.
Yeah.
And none of that costed anything other than hand.
Yeah.
And you also generated 2 extra Accel circles.
Which you can cash in next turn as well.
So, let's say if you go second, you start with 1 Accel circle, you go with 3 Accel circle, and the next turn you write a new yarn.
Yeah.
So you're on 4 Accel circles, you activate ham yarn, you call like 6 cards out.
Yeah. It's Valley Town. I think it's interesting though that your ham yarn, it just doesn't work pretty much when you ride grade 3.
Yes. So because of that, when you're playing this deck, I think your mulligan changes quite a bit, depending on whether you're going first or second. If you're going first, you definitely keep your Hamsukes. You want to ride that. Whereas if you're going second, then that's not as important, and you're trying to. Your grade 3 is the grade 3 that you're looking for. Heavily depends on whether you're going first or second.
Okay. All right. So if you guys count up all the cards here, you notice that we're missing 1 card.
And that's because we've got.
Yeah, these are the choices, right? So
Yep.
you can go full safe for the mini bellies, and then you have like you run 4 of that and forget this, or you can go harmed on.
Harmed on. So I was thinking of putting just an extra copy there. It gets 10k to itself, gives 10k to another unit. You have to counterblast 1 for it. You put a card into soul, you draw 1 back, so it's plus. It's not a plus, but you counterblast 1 to get 20k worth of power. And this deck surprisingly doesn't use CB that heavily. Oh, it does, and then you get it all back
because of this guy. So yeah, what do you think though? In your gut, what does it tell you? Which one would you rather pick?
Maybe they hammed on just so that I have some extra units that hits like better. And it's also an extra Hamsuke that you can call out.
True. So yeah, just take your pick, guys. If you want the hand on, just get rid of that. Put it in. I think it's done, right? I think that's a pretty good. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to build.
Yeah.
Very easy to build, and overall very easy to play.
Probably not as easy as it looks.
Okay.
One of the things you have to do all the time is keeping track of how many different types of, especially starting from the second grade 3 turn, you need to keep track of what's left in the deck, and there will be times where you'll be putting cards into the deck first before you do the mass calling. And in those times, that's when you want to make sure you want to put back cards that aren't available in the deck. Just so that you give yourself more targets to call out. And some play orders are important. You want to make sure that you don't screw up and have a non-Hamsuke at the bottom of the deck. That happened a couple of times in our games, I think. So it's just a matter of practice. Just need to get used to it. And other than that,
it's not how to do the combo. It's more just doing everything, all the small things correctly.
Yes.
Because I mean, the biggest combo probably here is just CB2 call a field, and then and then after the attack, you just make sure your bottom card is a Hamsuke. and then you can ride it.
Yeah.
And get a billion, a billion Accel circles, right? So, yeah, I guess that's pretty straightforward. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. It's a very straightforward, kind of a very straightforward deck. We'll take some time to getting used to. Like, you know, it seems simple to play, but hard to kind of master and get all those processes going and techniques so you can get it working in the tournament, I guess. Yeah, check it out, guys. Clan Selection 2 is definitely one of the decks to look out for.
Yeah. And look at all those hamsters.
You like hamsters? Well, not furries, right? Furries is the Isabella deck. This is just
I mean, Pui Pui Mocha is like meta right now, and so is Hamsuke.
So,
And they like the same thing.
coincidence? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. See you later, boys. Let us know in the comments what you guys think. If you like this deck or not, and if you like how we're doing in the TTS. Alright, bye.